Cániú túrastalh na hardhhainisteach do goláidir ag cruinniú cimblion le wank na héireanna nniu.
Dúirt Archie Kane le cúicéad scarthalabhóirí bailithe an Óstán an Burlington ar maidin gur bheith príomh aim an bhang fille ar bhrá bús. Le cánaí cóirí íal ar ais agus mar bhuichas as a go tacaíochta. Cháin rointas na scarthalabhóirí an túrastal ard atá hiilehigh an bríomhaimneach agus an cúitimh ard atá áil ag buail eile an bhuairt chomá. Dír Shane Ross ar Richie Boucher an pá atá áilge a dhearra ina le. John Farsha gur behéin uachtarán an IRB agus ná a bhíon chead feite ag an bhanc úsáid bhaintas an séala atá acu.
Did you get a chance to have a look up Tina G News at 7? All the top bench up at they were all minded. They had all these fellas in suits around there. I'd say they were Bank of Ireland staff themselves, you know. And if you went near end, about 4 or 5 of them sort of surrounded you, you know. One particular fella came over to interview me, and I don't know whether he realised or what he realised, but when he came over and they surrounded anyway, me and him, and the minute he said, "What's your name?" and I said, "William James Maguire, I'm president." He said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I'm not allowed to interview you." And others tried to come over too, and the heavy gang had them, and there were cameras in there as well, and people were asked to speak on the cameras, and I wasn't. I had the checkbook. You'll see it on TG, the Burlington Hotel. The 2 questions I asked were, where's that Bank of Ireland getting your license from to trade as a bank? They couldn't answer it. Isn't that a scandal? And Joe Walsh, he should have been able to answer that question. Who gave you permission, I said, to use the sovereign seal of the Irish Republican Brotherhood on your cheques? And no one could answer. No one knew what it was. It's the sovereign seal of Dáil Éireann. No other state was founded in the Sovereign Republic of Éire only between 1916 and 1919. The Oireachtas is not a state. It's a corporation imposed by King George V as a sham provision of the government to make Ireland immune to George V and the people subservient. It's by royal assent. That's what it is. That's fraud and deception. The Bank of England is the court. That's where it comes from. I said about the license, I said, are you getting your sovereignty and your license from the Crown of England? They didn't want that said at their meeting. Should they fraudulently sold all those shares if there's no license with them? I heard people saying, "Oh, you're representing the government." I said, "We don't have a government, the provisional government." Geez, they nearly went mad when I said provisional government. The lady there who's interviewing, you'll see her, she said, "No," she said, "I'm going to put it up." She said, "I want to know more about this." I asked the question, where was the bank getting their license from? And they refused. She said, "I know," she said. And they refused. They couldn't answer the question. And then I asked, what is that symbol on the Bank of Ireland checkbook? The check that you use every day. And they weren't able to tell me. The president of the IRB is what they said. I mean, Michael D. Higgins, he is unbelievable. They don't care. They couldn't care less. All your children were chained to the spire in O'Connell Street. They couldn't care less. Or if they died of hunger, it doesn't worry them. As long as they're all right, that's the attitude now.
Dúirt an Farsha gur behéin uachtarán an IRB agus ná a bhíon chead feite ag an bhanc úsáid bhaintas an séala atá acu.
Bhí an cruinniú go maith.
Sorry, can you read a TG Cahar? La, clear.
And RTE had the following to say.
The package was the subject of shareholders' attention at the Bank of Ireland AGM this morning. The AGM also heard the bank chairman Archie Kane defend his appointment to the role, saying he had been put through a process of fitness and probity.
This was Archie Kane's first AGM as chairman of Bank of Ireland. He told up to 500 shareholders who gathered in the Burlington this morning that the bank's objective was to reduce the taxpayers' exposure and reward their support. But it was CEO Richie Boucher who most shareholders had in their sights.
F you, Mr. Boucher, F you, Bank of Ireland, and F you, the coalition government of Mr. Luke.
But it wasn't all negative. One individual praised his staying power.
OK, you made sins, but the sins weren't that bad. There were others in the board who helped you over the years, and thank God you stayed.
Independent TD Shane Ross described Mr Boucher's pay of over €800,000 last year as outrageous and absurd. But he wanted to know why the chairman was being awarded what he said amounted to €10,000 per week.
You were certainly surplus to requirements at Lloyd's TSB at the time. That is not a situation which we, as shareholders in Bank of Ireland, should necessarily welcome.
I went through a long process of fitness and probity. All of the issues that you refer to were disclosed in advance of my appointment.
A number of shareholders raised what they referred to as the decimation of the bank's share price. Mr Kane said he understood the hardship of share wipeout, but the focus now was on getting the bank back to profitability. Brian Finn, RTE News at the Bank of Ireland AGM in Dublin.
And that's it. No mention of what Billy Maguire, president of the IRB, had to say.